Hello and welcome to another episode of No Load Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Obed, good to be back with you, man.
Good to see you
Let's
again,
do this.
sir.
Yesterday was a lot of fun. Last week was great with the Streets of Rage.
Yeah. We gotta continue that one someday.
That was awesome.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah,
Someday we'll revisit it. Probably. We'll let it simmer and then we'll come back to it. Well, we'll
oh,
do a couple other different games.
for sure.
So
Pick up
we'll,
after Chinatown.
yeah, pick up after Chinatown. Shout outs, if you
If
know,
you know,
you
you
know.
know.
Sir, how's it going, man?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. Life's been busy, personal and fresh side, but no, doing good nonetheless. Looking forward to hopefully seeing here soon A Quiet Place Day One. That one looked pretty solid.
I heard it's
Been
real good, yeah.
keeping yeah, it looks pretty good. IGN gave it a 9. So we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I recently am caught up on the My Adventures of Superman. So that's really good.
Okay. Man, I
That
gotta I
that
gotta go into that
show,
one. I
yeah, that
promise I'll
show
go to
is
that one.
solid. I I think last week it was when I was talking about it, I was like, oh man, I really hope that at some point they would consider doing like a Justice League kind of spin out from this and kind of in the same style and the same character world kind of thing. And I no spoilers, but there's definitely grounds for it
Okay.
after this last episode. There's plenty of things that they are acknowledging exist in this world. So it's an interesting flight nonetheless. So yeah, I'm enjoying a lot. Maybe these things are to come very soon, but yeah, looking forward to watching more of that. Aside from that, don't have too much more to share. I know we got plenty to talk about on the show, but I'll
Yeah.
throw it over to you, Obed. What's been up with you, man?
Yeah, man. Not much on my end either. I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush. Game's real good. Game's good. It's hard. Like it got to the point. Not necessarily. I mean, let me rephrase that. The game is not hard. What it is that there's some sections do require like the timing for the beats to be like on point,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So that it does interlays some of the rhythm game elements into the gameplay, and when it started like leaning really hard on those, then it started getting a little bit harder. But it's good. Like man, the game is written so well. It looks phenomenal. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you have Xbox, PC, or PlayStation. Yeah, definitely check it out.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome, man. I would like to check it out at some point. There's so much on my
Oh, it's too
backlog,
much, man.
but it's good. It's a good problem to some extent.
Right.
I just wish I had more time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, it's like I get here and I get here from work, and it's like, oh, shit,
I
I just
know.
wanna, just sit down and just like I don't want to think about
Yeah,
stuff. I just want to like
you
put
got a
on some like
family
meme
and
video and just watch
yeah,
memes, dude. Just watch people falling over and cats like trying to talk and all that stuff. It's
I
ridiculous,
get
and I
it.
love it. And it's like, cause
It-
he just helps me disconnect, man. It just helps
Yes,
me
yes.
like turn off my brain for a
Hmm.
little bit, and not that way I don't get my brain fried. But
It's good
uh,
for your mental health for
it
sure.
is,
I
it is,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I do need to start catching up on stuff. I'll get there. I'm gonna, I promise that I'll start Superman very soon. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. So
And if you wait till it finishes to binge it, it's probably not. I don't think it's only
there's
like
only
eight
one
episodes
one season
usually.
already out, right? So I can
Yeah,
watch
it's like
that.
exactly 20 minutes almost each one, so it'll be easy to get through.
Yeah. No, I'll check it out for sure. Yeah, cool. So we got a few things that are happening. Um, I'm gonna let you go and talk about the Acolyte again. I didn't watch this episode. I do know what kind of happens. I am still
Yeah,
boycotting the show. I am not even gonna hate watch it, as I said.
sure.
Not again. What I saw from this episode was very interesting, right?
Hmm.
But it seems like the sentiment, not and even with level-headed fans, is yeah, it's cool, but it's just that it's so poorly written that it's kind of hard, right? It's kind of hard to get in
Yeah.
it. Um, it's more, man. I saw a really good comparison. It's just that it's just really cool. It's just not good. It's like it's weird, right? I don't know how to explain it. Um, the best way I can explain it is probably, I don't know, Devil May Cry 2, which the game was
Mm.
like visually really cool, but the game wasn't good. And then they, definitely corrected course with 3. Um, but it's probably like, from what I've seen, it is that right. I think that they have some good ideas. It's just that um, if they would have implemented those ideas without putting the agenda stuff up front, um, I think reception would have been much better for the show. But I'll let you go, man. Since you watched it, I'm just an observant.
Yeah, no, I think the sentiments you said, I'm not I'm not gonna go into big detail. We got a lot of other things to talk about on the show, but there's a lot of key things that happen in this episode. Some things that I think was good, was a step in the right direction, to be completely fair about my analysis of it. But then most of it just still just kind of just, you can tell where this thing is going,
Right.
and that's not for a good reason. So, long story short is, you get this episode, when, as we ended from the episode before, about the acolyte has shown up now, and all the Jedi that were pursuing, to basically to save this Wookiee Jedi that ends up unfortunately being already murdered by the time they all arrive, or by the time May arrives, and their Jedi are right behind. Catch my rant on that last week, but these, they all instantly get tossed to the ground. So this picks up directly after that moment,
Right.
where, okay, you see Osha gets up, and she's literally gets up this stage, and she is seeing the Jedi going to battle against this
Mysterious
acolyte,
character. Right.
the stranger, as
The
they were
stranger.
naming
Yeah.
him. He is the stranger. I was just like, okay,
Smilo Ren, as I heard him call.
Smilo Ren. I've seen that one.
Yeah, I've
That's
seen
pretty
that
good.
one.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. Um, yeah, and in general, I think the fight is actually shot very well. I think that I thought that the choreography was very good. There's a lot of, unfortunately, not inconsistencies with power usage, where a character uses extreme power one moment and the next moment seems to kind of not use it. It's very bizarre. But all in all, I can give credit to that part of it, and saying like, hey, this is actually cool to see a lot of, in live action, a bunch of lightsaber wielding characters all battling at the same time. We haven't seen something like that since the prequels. I will give my roses on that front.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I
But
add
just,
can I add something real quick?
sure.
Can Lucasfilm or stop with the lightsaber fights at night? It's been in
Well,
every
it gets better.
single movie. Like every single of the Disney movies, with the exception of The Last Jedi. I think arguably The Last Jedi had the better of the action sequences, because it was in the throne room. It was well lit. There was fire around, right?
Rise of Skywalker has a midday one when they're on the
The
water.
water.
Kylo
It's midday. Yeah, I wouldn't call
so
that
it's
night
not,
necessarily,
you know,
but
but yeah, you're right.
Force Awakens, and then Kenobi, and then everything that happens in like here again, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, all right, guys, we get it. We get, like, it looks cool because of the light, right? But I want to be able to see stuff. I didn't watch this. Don't get me wrong. I don't care. But
Yeah. No,
but
it's
when it
true.
comes to like Kenobi,
Yeah.
dude, it's like I had to like
Oh
pause it
yeah.
and adjust my TV's gamma because I couldn't see anything. I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck is this?
Also, that
So
battle should have been on Mustafar, but that's another battle we'll talk about another
yeah,
day.
and it has fire and all that. So yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying it should have been. It should have been Kenobi. It
Oh,
should.
right. Yeah,
All right.
exactly. Yeah. So, but
But
yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, like exactly like you're saying, like it'd been nice to have seen more. But it is shot in a way enough that you're kind of seeing it through Osha's perspective. You're like, okay, this guy's going down, and it's like very early on. I was watching him like, that's a dude. That is not one of this other. Like that has to be this guy that's been traveling with May the whole time, and it was obvious for multiple reasons that it was going to be that character. There were seeds set up, and that's a part of the problem with this show. Is like, oh, but I've said it multiple times. It's supposed to be a murder mystery. It's supposed to be very like, ooh, let's see where it's going on. Kind of like, not that this was a murder mystery, but how it was always revealing week to week, like WandaVision. You were trying to figure out and there was clues being left until the finale where you
Right.
were able to put together what was really going on, how Wanda was creating a field over the town, whatever. Like, with this, we should be kind of guessing week to week. And there are little things that's like, oh, there's more to be revealed for sure. But it's so led on, it's kind of obvious where these things are going. It's at the point now when you actually get the reveal of who this character is, who, which is after he basically kills all of the Jedi except for Soul. And obviously Osha still being there in May, and he's running to try and kill May is the main one that he's trying to kill because he looks as a traitor. When you finally get the reveal of this stranger who's been traveling with May this whole time and playing coy, I instantly went, oh, because of his physical appearance, I bet you this guy's a brother, cousin, or son of Soul. Like I instantly, like it wasn't even I'm telling you right now, Obed, I would put money on it.
Yeah.
This man is a relative of Soul.
Right.
By the time they go into these next few, or they reveal in the next episode or the episode after that.
Right.
And because he says something. He says something about I sense a familiar spirit, like familiar thing, which is like obviously we know that Vader, it said that about Kenobi when Kenobi was there and that sort of thing. But anyways, so like again, if that's a mystery thing that's gonna be laid on, it's kind of obvious where it's heading with it. And then like on top of that, when you talk about daylight and nighttime and all this stuff, like basically May knocks out Osha. May and Osha like get knocked down, and when they get up, and it's like not even they actually don't get. Excuse me, they don't get knocked down first. They're running after each other, and like in a matter of like minutes, it's like the sun is rising like already. So I'm like, unless it's space, maybe there's specific rules about the day,
smaller
time,
planet
the
rotation
on this planet or something. There could be around
planetoids.
it, but it's. But I'm like, why couldn't we have gotten the fight where this happened? Where midway through the fight, all of a sudden it was bright. Like that could have been cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yeah, they're switching places with each other. I've seen some people say like, oh, like how come Soul can't sense it? Well, Jedi aren't able to read minds unless they actually stop and do like what Kylo Ren did, to Rey to do that. They just might sense that there's something off or something untrue being around, but not exactly. But the fact that Soul survives is why I believe that he's related, because if every other Jedi was literally just absolutely it was easy for this guy to kill all of them off. Soul should have died too, and at some point Soul's gonna have to die. The main thing about this is like, and I'm sorry to tell everybody who's fans of the show, they all got to die. Because if you're trying to keep canon, which we know that they don't respect it at this moment, like when you're saying that there's a Sith have not been seen, and he directly identifies himself to Soul as, you would call me a Sith. He's telling you that's a part of the side of the Force that he is following. Is he exactly not? Whatever, call it what you want, but he is saying you would call me a Sith. So if Soul gets free and he somehow makes it out to the Jedi Council and says, I fought a guy who says that we would call him a Sith, that completely destroys everything that we know about going into the prequels and beyond. So Soul has to either die before he makes it to Coruscant, or you're just going to completely slap in the face the entire consistency. There's no way around that this man doesn't tell everyone else what he has seen and what happens here.
Right.
So I'll be watching more. But out of all the episodes, Obed,
right,
it was the most tolerable episode, but that doesn't make it a good episode. I'm sorry, it was not a good episode. Still very boring. I was more frustrated than enjoying it. And yeah, man, I will leave my rant at that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll keep watching clips on the internet.
Hey, that doesn't give them the views. So
that's you're safe. and I watch them again because I just stumble upon them. I'm scrolling. I was like, oh, a clip showed up. I was like, let me watch this thing. I was like, oh, great, okay. And I just keep going. I just mind my business, right? I don't go over to the internet and go, yo, this is awful. It's terrible. It's like, right? I don't have to. I can not like something and not complain about it. Right.
Like,
come on, guys. I know that we all love Star Wars, right?
Right, right,
I
right,
got
right.
receipts, dude. I got receipts.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
oh
Star
yeah.
Wars, dude. I love Star Wars. But if I don't like it, I can just, no, don't watch it. Watch the clip. Like, that's fine. Well, that was dumb, right? And you just keep moving on, right?
You show great restraint.
I don't, dude. It's like I'm not gonna say I don't engage. It's like that's the thing, right? You can absolutely despise something and not engage, right? With like the fandom. And
Hmm.
I mean, we poked fun at like Doctor Who here before and all that,
Yeah,
and I know that
sure,
those guys are very, very passionate.
absolutely.
Um, and I just think that your show is not good. And
That's
I
a
don't, but
personal
I don't go.
opinion.
In my personal opinion, I just don't go on the internet and goes like, "Oh yeah, this is trash. Oh, you guys are nerds because you like this trash." I'm like, no,
That's their
whatever.
business.
Whoever enjoys it, if you enjoy it, enjoy it. That's great. That's awesome, right? I'm not who to tell you what's not, what you could and you can't enjoy. So, but I bring this up because there's a little bit of controversy going on right now. There was a video posted. The video was taken down, um, and I think ultimately, right, the video is bad. Arguably, again, it's like so. Unlike the Acolyte, the video's bad, but it doesn't seem to be bad on purpose. I think whoever came up with the idea for the video and the people that participated in the video, with the exception of potentially one, like I mentioned to you, outside of the show,
Yeah.
it, I I think that it came from a good place. I think that they wanted to calm the waters down. It's like they're kind of telling everyone, it's like, hey, listen, let's take a step back. You don't have to like everything, but let's go ahead and let if we like it, let us enjoy it, right? That kind of thing. Which is, again, I am 100%. If you like it, right? That's awesome. That's fine. I don't I don't care, right? Um, the problem that I have with that video, and I'm specifically talking about the "There Are More of Us" video that's out there that some Star Wars fans made. Um, and again, I do sincerely think that the video came from a place that's like, listen, guys, you know let's try to appease the waters, but they just made it worse, unfortunately, right? They started pointing out stuff, and some of it seemed disingenuous, and then I just it didn't feel right. So it was the right call for whoever posted it to pull it down because the video was just weird. Um, and again, it's unfortunate. It had content. Specifically, like Kyle Katarn was in that video, right? And I've been watching him for a long time, uh, and like I love Star Wars, but he loves Star Wars. Like I love Star Wars, but he loves Star Wars, and he's not only knowledgeable with what's going on right now. He's very knowledgeable of legends and in depths and obscure characters and all, you know, and it's great, and I do enjoy his content, right? Um, I do think that it's unfortunate that he got mixed up in the whole thing because they again let if people want to criticize it, just let them criticize it, right? And I know that a vocal, very very vocal minority got out there and started doing this weird comments, and it always happens, and it will happen, and it will continue to happen as long as we have the internet. And and that's the unfortunate truth about that. Um, but I I felt bad watching it because I'm, I love Star Wars, right? And I'm not watching The Acolyte, but that doesn't take away my love for The Empire Strikes Back, and it doesn't take away my love for Revenge of the Sith and Rogue One, right? That's not, it's not
Yeah.
gonna go back,
Yeah.
right? It's like when they made that mockumentary, the people versus George Lucas. This has been going on for 20 years, guys.
Yes.
Like this is nothing new, right? Like even George went through it. Like that's why George sold Star Wars because people started hating on him, right? And now you hate Star Wars even more, right? So at the end of the day, right? If you enjoy something, that's great. If you don't enjoy it, that's great. You both can be vocal about it, right? I if you enjoy it, if you want to defend it, fine. Even if you don't have the correct arguments, that's fine, right? Um, and if you don't like it, bring your arguments, right? So I think at the end of the day, Joel, is live and let live. It's like you know I'm good either way. This doesn't affect me personally. I'm fine. I'm just not watching it and I'm having a great time, right? And I don't have to be on the internet every time I see a clip and goes like, well, you would know that the Sith were gone for over a millennium and that Kiarimundi said it and he's also not over 100 years old. I don't have to do that.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
I'm a grown man. I don't have to be out there arguing canon on something that doesn't even belong to me, bro. It's like, honest to God, man. It's like, why am I? I'm not gonna get involved with this, right? I talk to you. Is a conversational
For
podcast.
sure.
We're having a conversation about it, and I can express my feelings here, but I'm not gonna be out there just. I'm not even commenting on videos, dude. It's like,
Huh.
why should I bother, right?
Yeah.
And well, you would know that even George Lucas himself changed the canon because he changed stuff too, and when he did the prequels, whatever. I I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
You know what I care about is quality. Make good content. Make good stuff. Have good writing on your shows. Have good writing and cohesive storytelling on your movies. That's what I care about. I don't care about anything else, to be honest with you. And I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll let you go because I know that you also have opinions about this.
Yeah. I mean, just to piggyback off of the very beginning, I sound so corporate saying that. Piggyback off of. Uh,
You're
sorry.
going to
But
create some synergy here, Joel?
right.
Yeah.
Right. No, like just as what you were saying at the very beginning when you said like you think that the intentions were pretty well overall with the people who made this specific video. Um, I'm not as sure of that as you are. I can't speak to someone's intentions. Um, but the very message itself is there are more of us. And that's coming across as like usually trying to sound like, hey, like we're supporting you against something else. But that's the problem that I have is that your message is saying you're supporting someone against something specific, and that specific thing is not as clearly identified except for if like Star Wars is for everyone and
Right.
they can't take it from me, but you're trying to say that you're separating yourselves from another group, saying like Star Wars is for us, almost like that's where I get afraid with
Yeah.
because the
And
message
that's
I think they like you said I think they kind of meant well, but at the same point
right.
I don't know if they fully understood the message they were putting
No,
out.
that's why I think that it was a smart thing to take it down, because I think the
Yeah,
messaging, the intention behind it, I think was good, but the messaging that they were conveying was very elitist, I guess. I guess
right.
it's like no, it belongs to everyone, so you know it belongs to me. Like no, it doesn't.
Right, right,
It
right.
doesn't. It belongs to Disney.
Right, right,
It's
right,
like
right,
it's
right.
like it doesn't even
Right.
belong to George Lucas
It doesn't
anymore.
belong to me. It doesn't and I'm a fan and I've
Right.
given it money.
Right. I can show you the picture with me with my Yoda costume from 1982.
Heck yeah.
I I have it somewhere in my social media. There's a
He's
big.
a real guy.
I'm there, bro. I
You're
was
real.
there. I was fighting this fight since I was 6 years old. I mean, I joke
All right,
about it, but it's
Andor.
true, right? When everyone's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
nerds like Star Wars," like, dude, I love Star Wars. Throughout the '90s, like buying VHS, the VHS tapes, going back to the movie theaters and watching the special editions, like all this stuff. I did it, and you know what? And I'm fine. I'm not. You know, the only problem that I have is that the quality has gone down. Like put out a quality product. I don't care what your characters are. The best example is Rogue One, dude.
Yeah.
Diverse cast of characters.
Yeah.
And it's next to Empire is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It's my favorite of the modern ones, you know.
Yeah.
And I love Rogue One, and I would go like I would fight for that movie.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, for sure.
it's legit a great, a great movie, and it's a great Star Wars movie.
It ages so well.
So
Um,
yeah,
but I'm just saying, like, on that basis, like that's where I have a little bit of like concern around, like, well, I'm purely on that part of the message. But at the same extent, um, there's a lot of like there's a lot of like victimhood going around right now in the fandom, where it's like if you don't like something, or if you're pointing out why you don't like something, that somehow the person who does like the thing is now a victim of someone else attacking them. If I'm telling you, like how you said, I'm not doing this. I'm not going on social media
right.
and putting the comments, and I'm not going around and rant, whatever.
Even if I agree,
If
like
so,
the only video that I probably commented was on ah lost her name, the girl that made the video about the letter to Kathleen Kennedy. I'll look it up.
Snarky J.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Snarky.
she's cool. She's cool.
Yeah,
I almost met her at MegaCon. She
yeah.
was out there.
I
Yeah.
commented that the only and my comment was like, I agree with this, and I'm an old school Star Wars fan, and I agree.
That's not attacking someone.
And I'm
That's
not
us
attacking. I
talking
was like,
about.
I'm just
That's her
agreeing. I'm
video.
just agreeing with her point because her point was 100%.
Right.
Like she was right
Yeah,
on
I
point.
do recommend people do go around and check out Snarky J's video to Kathleen Kennedy. We
Phenomenal.
don't know her. We're not, but I'm just telling you,
Phenomenal.
like the statements there were very passionate. But yeah, like, but I'm not going around. I'm not going. My point is, I'm not going around doing that like how you said, Obed. But like, I mean, there are people who know me on a personal basis who ask me, like, hey, like, solicited, as like, hey, what is your thoughts about this? Okay, I'll tell you then, right? But if you're offended that somebody is expressing their opinion of why they don't like something, that's not attacking somebody. If I'm telling you I don't like something because of X, Y, and Z, like, you're not a victim if if someone just doesn't like what you don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sounds really dumb on the outside. I think there's a
Right.
lot of people who have mixed up, like, and there are people exist. Like we're saying, I'm not downplaying it. I'm not saying that these people aren't out there putting horrible DMs. And I
Oh,
mean this. And by
totally.
the way,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
this is not just a Star Wars thing. People act like Star Wars fans don't. I don't know, Obit. I'm not trying to say that, but House of the Dragons. I've been keeping up with that show, dude. There's recently there was an actor who I had to literally like mute his like comments or whatever because people were like wishing the man death, and he's playing a
Dude,
character. He's not
Xbox.
doing anything,
Xbox, like the
Right,
toxicity in the Xbox fan. Like
for
I'm
sure.
not pointing. I'm not also leaving PlayStation out, but I think that
No,
it is more prevalent in the Xbox fan base,
right.
where they go out and start attacking people.
These it
Yeah,
exists. Like we're saying it's not exclusive to Star Wars, but to say that the people who out there who are saying I don't like this thing because it has this, and this, like, you must really hate America or must really hate like free speech or something, because like that's okay, because if you don't like something, you're allowed to say it, and you should be allowed to say it on the opposite end. If you're like, I don't like that Star Wars has this, or I don't like the Star Wars doesn't have that, or I didn't like this, whatever, like, that's fine. I think that's what I love about, like, with our podcast here. Sometimes we agree to disagree. A lot of times, I think you and I have a very fair, level-headed assent. I think that's just who we are as people. Like, that's not just a Star Wars
right.
thing, Like, we're pretty chill. We don't have to get angry. Our channel doesn't want to be known for being angry, and that's why even when we talk about this stuff,
I've probably only been angry a couple times.
no,
But actually,
yeah.
like,
But people who know you,
yeah,
like, know, like, you're just not, like, that's not who you are, like,
no,
as a
no, no.
human. Like, it's not your praises. And most of their stuff on our show, if you really watch, it comes with a place of passion. So yeah, if you're passionate about something for or against, that's a problem I had with that campaign. Is it kind of came across like, if you don't like
Yeah,
this,
and that's the thing. So yeah, um, I just wanted to put it out there.
yeah,
There was another controversy that exploded, I guess today, or there's sometime this morning, about one of the people that appeared in the video, and I guess it's like a stolen web identity or something. I don't want to get into the weeds, but you guys can look
yeah,
it up. Um, yeah, um, yeah, it is for everyone. That's for sure. It's always been it's always been since the beginning, and that's great. But all also as fans, uh, we need to be treated with respect, and like and it goes from where you know don't disrespect the fans that don't like your projects and your products, but don't insult my intelligence with giving me like a subpar, mediocre, like run of the mill, like poorly written show. Like you got
We just want quality.
right.
We just want
That's like
quality.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
We just want quality, right? And you know, hopefully, they can deal with that. And I'm hoping. I mean I still have stand by my prediction that October this year there may be some changes, and I still stand by it. So we shall see. But Joel, there are some changes over at the parks.
Oh, please explain this
So
to me, Obed.
all
Please
right.
explain this to me.
So you know how much everyone hates Genie Plus because I've said it. Like for me, it's like NFTs, Genie Plus as the biggest
Oh
scams
my
ever.
goodness. Oh no.
So Genie Plus, dude, that was a scam. You have to like buy it in the morning, and then you buy it, and
Yeah,
then by the
yeah.
time you go to the rides to pick your ride, everything's gone because you had to spend 15 minutes trying to check out on the app, and then so so they changed it. So okay. Also, guys, can you get? I think, Joe. I think that there are very very qualified people out there that can write instructions on how things work. Uh, uh, because I had to read through like
Oh
the
yeah.
thing like
It's a
three
lot.
times, right? Okay, here's my understanding of Lightning Link Plus. It is basically FastPass Plus is back,
Okay.
but you pay for it.
Okay.
If you're staying at a Disney resort, you can purchase it 7 days in advance and start booking your rides. If you have a regular ticket, my understanding is that you have 3 days in advance to start book and to purchase and then start booking your stuff. Right? There's two tiers. There's two tiers for the rides. Um, so there's like a top tier, like an e-ticket kind of ride that you can pick one, and then you can pick two of the other rides when you book, right? As far as I know, there are still some rides that you can only purchase an individual Lightning Link for, like Rise of the Resistance, for example,
So crazy, bro. This
which
is
is
crazy.
insane again, right?
I'm
But
sorry.
I think that it's a way better product that Genie Plus was, because you have
Yeah.
time now to
Yeah.
purchase in advance. Um, a point of controversy, Joel. I don't know if you heard this. This is only available for U.S. residents. Like
Interesting.
if you're coming from outside the U.S., you cannot purchase this. They're
That's a
do
huge
they're
market,
I
dude.
think they're doing the Japan thing. Like if you live
Wow.
in Japan, you have certain perks that tourists don't get.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know
So
that was a thing in Japan, to be honest with
yeah,
you.
well,
With Disney Japan.
so so yeah, I think it's better. Just to give you an example, I'm gonna go through the like example rides here. So they're calling it the multipass, which is very interesting. And let's see. I just want to see the tiers. Okay, yeah. So, like Magic Kingdom, say for example, right? I understand Magic Kingdom's too. They got too much crap there. All right, let's do Epcot. So Epcot, like their e-ticket rights are gonna be Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Frozen Ever After, and Soarin'. No Guardians. Looks like that one's staying on Virtual Queue, which I think is smart. And then your tier two rights are gonna be Journey into Imagination, Living with the Land, Mission Space, Spaceship Earth, Seas with Nemo, Turtle Talk, and the Pixar Short Film Festival. So that's an example of what the selections are, right? So
Okay.
you would expect like Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, like the Millennium Falcon. Those rides are your e-ticket rides. You can pick one of those, and then you can pick and you can pick like Star Tours and I don't know, the alien swirling saucers, the worst ride at Disney. I don't know. You know what? I think.
I like aliens roller
I think the
saucers.
worst ride at Disney World is the go
It's a
karts
short
at Magic
line.
Kingdom, the
Oh
Speedway. That's
yeah,
the worst ride
yeah.
at Disney World.
Speedway
Yeah,
needs to be updated.
yeah, that needs to be for sure. Yeah,
Janky and
um, and it smells awful and
smells
it's
awful. I still
noisy.
do it. I still have fun. I do everything at
Man, I
Disney,
try to
but
avoid it
it
as
needs an
much as I
update.
can.
Needs an
Yeah.
update.
Um, but yeah, so that's an example, right? I think this is better than what they had before. It's not
Yeah.
perfect. It's better. Um, there's no pricing. Speculation is that it's going to be around the same as what Genie Plus was. Um,
Yeah.
and there's no pricing on the single on the single ones either. So
Which will probably be a moving target depending on the ride.
yeah, well, it's a moving
Disney will,
it's a moving rate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
right.
dynamic pricing. So
It
it
has to
depends
be.
on the date and it depends on the ride, right? So
That's
um,
crazy.
but I do think that this is a much needed change, dude. Like Genie Plus was so bad. I don't like you have to like be like
Oh, it was
real
bad.
like that
Yeah.
was like top tier Chapek stuff because that was like who greenlit this thing? Like, and I know that Josh was in charge of parks, but Chapek's the one that called shots back then when this was implemented, and I it was not good. It was just
Yeah.
it's never been good.
I know.
And my wife
No.
asked me when we went to Epcot last time, and she was like, "Hey,
Sure.
so Genie Plus is like, no, I'm not gonna get it. It's a scam. Scam. I'm
You'll
not
be
gonna
mad. Like, yeah, don't waste your time.
let me book Guardians. That's all I care about. That's what I told her. It's like, hey, are you gonna get? It's like, no, I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna try and book Guardians, and that's all I care about. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did, right?
Yeah.
Um, but now, I when I go to studios, I'm planning to go studios the end of July. Um, I'll see how much it is, and if it's worth it, right? I may add it just for studios. I'm not gonna add it for Magic Kingdom because there's a lot of things to do at Magic Kingdom, and you know I was asking my daughter, I was like, hey, you want to go when you go to Magic Kingdom? What do you want to do? It's like, well, I want to do everything that I haven't done. I was like, okay, well that's fair, right? Um, so you know, but she had the things that she hasn't done are the smaller ones: the Treehouse, Tiki Room, Country Bears,
Yeah.
Laugh Floor, Astro Orbiters. So that's great, right?
You don't need
I
that.
don't
Yeah.
need it, right? And then if we find time, we go to the mine card and we call it a day, whatever.
Love
Um,
that.
but for studios, right? Because studios are for some reason, well, and I know the reason why. It's like Rock and Roller Coaster has been down for almost a year. They reopen July 27th, I think, and that's a ride that puts a lot of people through quickly, and it's been closed, and that's why the lines are usually like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm saving it up for studios if that's the case. But I think it's a good change. I think it's a good change. Again, not perfect, but a step in the right direction, which leads to the next story, and it's that Bob made a comment earlier this week, saying that we may know who the successor is by the end of the year of the not the fiscal year, the end of the calendar year, the end of 2024. We would know who the successor would be. Uh, he would still stay until 2026 to ensure a smooth transition and not go through what they did last time, because they want to make sure that the person they pick is the right person. So, yeah, there's and there's the usual suspects, right? The we got the Fantastic Four, I guess, which are Alan Bergman, Josh D'Amaro, Dana Walden, and Jimmy Pitaro. So Bergman, the rumor is that Dana Walden's the favorite. Walden and Bergman, they run studios. Um, of course, D'Amaro runs parks, and Pitaro, correct me if I'm wrong, Pitaro is the
ESPN,
CFO, ESPN. Yeah,
ESPN, yeah.
ESPN. So I think, honestly speaking, right, if you would ask me, right, based on how studios have performed in the last 4 years, um, theme parks being at this time their biggest um, income maker, I think Josh D'Amaro is the obvious choice, but I wouldn't count out Pitaro because I think Pitaro has done a great job with ESPN. Like he knows what people want, and he's been able to attempt to evolve the network as times have changed. Right? We all know, like you and I are in the know. You know, the viewership dropped 50% in the last like 10 years. Um,
Yeah.
but they've embraced technology and they've put, you know, they've been streaming for many years. Like ESPN2 content's been out there, and I think they've been able to evolve their business to where they're able to keep the audience engaged. Um, but I think Josh is well liked. I've I've heard that he's a nice guy. I don't know, but what do you think, man? What's gonna happen here?
I am not. There's not one candidate out of your, like you said, Fantastic Four here that I feel extremely passionate behind. To be very honest with you,
I agree
um,
with you.
does that mean that that none of these people could do a good job? I'm not saying that. I don't know that. You don't know that till the person's in that position. There's concerns for each of them for very specific reasons, right? Like if you go down the list between Bergman and Dana, like those are the ones that I have probably the biggest concerns with, just purely because of what we're seeing on the Disney film side. There's a lot on TV side. Seems to be a lack of creativity. There seems to be a lack of being in touch with what consumers want. There's some concerns around what's being greenlit on that side of things, and that doesn't mean that those people, maybe they're getting a little bit of a bad rap and there's more to the story than what we're seeing on the front lines. But just looking at the faces and what's under their umbrellas is why I'm saying that those two give me the biggest concerns. Jimmy, here's the thing about Jimmy. I think I think ESPN is not going to stay with Disney long term. And that's something that,
I
like,
made a
there's
prediction about that.
you made
Remember?
a prediction about that, right? So if Jimmy comes in and does it, is this like a farewell to ESPN, but like, hey, you get to stay with, I don't know. I don't know how that fully works if he steps into it. ESPN has had an extreme drop in viewership over these last few years because people just don't watch regular television the way they used to. That was something that from millennials and beyond was kind of like a thing that started to phase out a little bit, and so news based, like sports news especially, like most people are going to go to social media before they go and turn on ESPN, and that's just because of the nature of the beast, not because ESPN's doing a horrible job. It's just because of how the beast has become and turned. But there has been a lot of concerns around also just some decisions ESPN has made on some of their content to try and keep themselves relevant.
Right.
So I feel I almost put him similarly, not the same, but in a similar placement as both Dana and Al and Bergman, really. And that leaves you with Josh. And then, like, Josh is probably the person that I would put the closest level of like, hey, I think he's probably should be the one to get the job. But even with him, parks have not been anything of what they used to be. You look at the Galactic Star Cruiser, a lot of that was his baby. A lot of that, like, there's different things that he has had that have been absolute flops on the park side that he has been the front face of. Again, does that mean that he gets a bad rap because there's other pieces that are not just him, but because it's
Right.
under his umbrella? Probably. But it's like, out of all of them, I probably give him the more of the nod because the parks give them more revenue than television and some of these other things. And I feel like he'd play things a lot more safe than being more. And you see it with the parks, like with the rides and stuff that they're doing.
Right.
They're not taking risks that like they used to do.
No.
They're not trying to come at Universal and being like, we're gonna build this new state of the art coaster, whatever thing. They're like, no, we'll just give you another, you know, another
Another
same thing we've
IP
seen
thing.
before. Right, another IP. Like,
We'll
so
give you
something like,
nothing like at Epcot.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Obed wants the water fountains. He loves
I
those
want
water
the
fountains.
water fountain. I want
He loves
interventions
those-
back. I want the water fountains back. I want it back. Bring it
yelling
back.
at the sky, my water fountains. No, Josh, I think could be the one that out of all of them would be the same, but I don't feel excited about any of them. Obed, I would love to see another
Yeah,
dark horse come in here. That would be someone I'd like more, but that's just how these things go.
yeah. It's tough. I mean, who's out there that could like
Right.
who's out there doing like transformative stuff?
Well,
Like,
Adam Silver, but he's not leaving.
I don't think he is. Yeah,
He
yeah.
ain't leaving.
I don't think he is, man.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. I mean, Tim Cook.
And he's not leaving.
He's
Why
not leaving.
he would buy Disney before he leaves
Right,
Apple.
right. It
That's
goes
what's
back
gonna
to my
happen first.
prediction. Yeah.
Right. You would have to sell by the company.
Right. Um, I
I
don't
am Disney
like.
at that
I don't think
point.
there's anyone at Microsoft right now that's purely like transformative. But I mean,
I know.
it's tough,
Maybe.
right? It's like the we for a moment there we had a really good run with really good like business people that were really focused on transformational approaches to their companies, and now it's like the one that we had, we lost. We went nuts, going crazy on that ketamine, and then you know that's that that's how that was about it, right? But
Yeah.
unless you bring someone from, I don't know, from another country, like you can bring someone from, like I would say, like if Reggie wasn't that old, Reggie
Oh yeah.
Fils-Aimé,
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
that like he would be perfect.
Oh, for sure.
Like, so
I
you
know.
need, because he was the transformational guy for Nintendo, right? And
Cut from a different cloth, man.
right,
That's different.
and that's the sort of guy that you need. Um,
No.
Sean Layden's out there from PlayStation. He's
Interesting.
still not that old, and I think he did a great job at PlayStation. I think that PlayStation played politics with him, and he left because of
Mm.
that. But he's been out there making some really good, like being very outspoken about stuff, and being like, it's time that we transform this thing, right? Like they could bring someone from a video game. Don't bring Bobby Kotick. Don't. That would be the worst that you can do, right? Like, dude, bring Bobby Kotick. I would never go to the park as long as he's the CEO. I swear, like straight up. Like, don't bring someone like that. Um, but you have to start looking um at other businesses and looking for that person, right? That can take your business, and I think that Disney does have an incredible business model that is definitely not easy to manage. But I know that there's people out there that are more than happy to take on that challenge, especially in the video game industry. Um, you don't necessarily need to hire again internally. You can go to, like, why not bring
That's
one
what
of
I'm
the
hoping.
bring one of the people from Japan, from the Tokyo parks,
I
like
know.
like
I would love that.
that they're operating really
I
well.
would.
Have it run
Yes.
like a Japanese company, cut the fat, and streamline
I know.
revenue. That's
Just
all
something
you need,
different. That's what
man.
I want. A dark horse like that. Something that's like, okay,
Someone to come in and do something big and new and fresh,
yeah.
because that's the problem that they're having. So yeah, well, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, out of the four, out of the Fan Four Stick, Josh is the,
If I have to pick one,
yeah. If I had to pick one,
that's the guy.
yeah. But we shall see. Um, Still, there's rumors that PlayStation is working on native backwards compatibility with PS3 games for PS5. So there are several reports out there saying that they are pretty much ready to start almost like rolling this out or testing this out. But take it with a grain of salt. Still rumor. Um, I personally don't. Again, as someone that owns PS3 and I haven't played PS3 in like 5, 6 years, I'm trying to think. Last game I played on PS3 was the DuckTales remake they did for PS3, and I played it with my daughter,
That's
and
sweet.
that was before I bought the PS5. So we're talking 2018 probably.
Wow.
That I haven't turned on.
Wow.
I have it right here. It's unplugged because I unplugged the power. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have this thing draining power. So I this is great because there are tons and tons of PlayStation 3 games out there that
Yes.
are super cheap and are great games. So I have a ton of PS3 games back there, and that's great. Like if you can play it uh, on PS5, you can grab your Metal Gear Solid 4 and play it on PS5, right, with better load times and frame rate. So that'd be awesome if that's the case. But yeah,
Yeah, if this happens, dude, this would be so great. I had to read it like multiple times over just to make sure like that I was understanding it right. Cause I'm like, wait, physical me? Like I can take my disc and put it right into the PS5 and it's gonna just work.
yeah,
Like that concept is just something that we had talked about before when PS5 was initially being launched of like, what if they brought this thing out? This probably was something that there's for multiple reasons they've been working on for a long time, probably to make sure that there's no kinks and things ironed out. So I hope that if it does, come through that this is true, that actually does get to where it's supposed to be, and that we have it natively work with the PS5 with through a software upgrade, would have. Even if they would have said for some reason you need to buy an adapter, I don't know why, but like you have to buy some type of ROM adapter or something that plugs into it and it runs it, this whatever. Like I think it would still do well because their PS3 was just epic, bro. There's so many people who have so much great catalogs just sitting in their bins collecting dust, but they love these games.
yeah,
But maybe they're not going to plug in their PS3 because they need some shelf space.
right,
When it comes to something like this, I think about also like when I'm at conventions. So many times at MegaCon and TampaCon and Comic Con, whatever, and obviously like your game conventions, there's many vendors who are selling PS3 physical
right.
copies.
We went over to see Otaku last year.
Yutaku had the same
There was a
thing.
giant booth,
And
man.
there's
It's like
and
so
I
much.
look through them for fun. Like I go through them and I'm like, oh man, like I remember this one.
Yeah,
Oh, it'd be great to play this. But I'm like, if I knew that my PS5 could actually play these, oh, I would be so more inclined to be like, like they'll see a boost in sales from like old games or physical copies. I fully believe this. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just me.
yeah. Um, no, it's good. Like it doesn't do anything for me necessarily, right? It's not something
Yeah.
that I'm yearning to go back to. Maybe pull out like like Arkham City and replay it, right? That sort of
Oh
thing,
yeah,
right?
Arkham Origins I never played.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. But or something like the Castlevania,
Right.
Lords of Shadow, like something like that, right? That's trapped on a PS3, and you can't really, you can play on PC, but you can't really play on a modern console. So something like that. I mean, it's like, yeah, I would like to revisit Lords of Shadow. Why not? But
Yeah.
yeah, if they make it more like easily accessible like that, sure, yeah, why not? Um, but yeah, I think it's a great feature. It's signaling to a a more I guess friendly PlayStation in that concern. So that's good.
For sure.
And the last bit of news that I have here is that there was I guess the original design or what the patent design was for what they were calling the Xbox Keystone, which was their long rumored streaming only micro console. That based on the information that we got, in the last few days, this was pretty much ready to go, and they pulled the plug on it. This was gonna be like a like a a micro console, very cost efficient. Anywhere from 100 to $130, and that would only work with XCloud. So I guess they did away, or they pulled the plug, because they decided to instead go with something that provided some native support, um, and that is the Xbox Series S. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I sure
I, I,
this was gonna flop really bad.
yeah, yeah, they made the right choice here.
Yeah,
They made the right
yeah,
choice. The Series S
yeah,
is a far superior idea,
yep,
and some might say that I don't. I have to look at the numbers, but some might say the Series S is more loved than the X, not because the X isn't powerful and great and awesome, but because of the versatility and you have a new digital age and price point and stuff like that. So they made the right choice for
right.
what you get out of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And considering that you can find a Series S on sale fairly
Yeah,
cheap, you can still get you still get native support for games, and backwards compatibility, and all the other stuff that you get with
it's great.
one of the regular consoles. Yeah, sure. That would this was a good choice for them to just not release this. That said, Joe, I don't know if you saw that there was another rumor that for whatever they're working on next, is gonna be there's gonna be no disparity in the console like the PS5 did, where
Hmm, hmm.
there's a one with a disc, one without a disc. They're both the same, right? So they're working on whatever they're working on next is gonna be same console, one disc, one no disc, and that's it. So, um, yeah, it's
I
they
like
they
that.
learned their lesson. I
I
don't
like that.
again, and to your point, I don't think that the Xbox Series S is a bad device. I
No.
think that if you have a limited budget and you buy it for
Hmm.
Game Pass, I think it's a great choice. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it still looks good. The games still run well. Right? You're not gonna get the super 4K ray tracing and all that, but you can if you don't have the money to buy a gaming PC, this is a great
Right.
alternative, right?
Right.
So, it's a good little device, and much better than just a dedicated like streaming thing,
Oh
which you
no.
can do on the Series S too. So,
Right. Right. Right.
you know,
Yeah.
it would have defeated the purpose. So I think this was the right call, and it's the right call for their next whatever it is, to just be the single um the single power model, and then you do physical or no physical with it.
Right.
Um, Still waiting to see. I know that Capcom has a thing on July 1st, and they're gonna show some stuff, but I'm pretty sure that sometime next month we're gonna get a surprise uh, not necessarily state of play, but well, yeah, I guess state of play, and we'll get the reveal of the Pro next month.
Yeah.
Put it
Yeah. I
on
think
the
on
put,
the
put
predictions.
on the predictions. Yeah. So I want to say like sometime either July August, through July August, for an early November release. Put on the notes. Set up. No shrimp involved on this one, sir. Please. Oh man. But yeah, good stuff, dude. That is pretty much what I have. I just did a scrub, and sir, it looks like we may be good to go.
I think so. Thank you all so much for sticking with us on today's show. We look forward to talking with you so much more about all the things we love and everything in between. So make sure you follow our show. We are on social media platforms of your choice, places like Facebook, Threads, X, Instagram, TikTok. We'll make sure you follow us on social media with all of our announcements and things going on there. Make sure you are subscribed to the show. We're on podcast platforms like Spotify, Amazon Music, SoundCloud. So make sure you find us on those platforms, subscribe to us, and also share those episodes with your friends and family. The video version is on our YouTube channel, which is growing. We thank you for everyone that joins us there, keeps watching these videos. So no load time on YouTube. You can subscribe to the channel, like the videos, drop a comment. That just helps us out by just showing that little bit of support with the algorithm and so much more. We also are on Patreon, so if you want to continue supporting us, you can do that. On Patreon, you can do as little as $1. This is your choice, but if you do as little as $1, you can help that money go directly to us to use for the show for some improvements and future ideas and things that we have. We talked about before, like, going to San Diego Comic-Con and these other conventions that we're reporting on, that we're being acknowledged and brought in by these great conventions. We're doing it out of our own pocket really here. So every little bit helps with all the different things that we have coming on now and things that come in the future. So if you consider helping us out as little as $1, and that can all be explained on patreon.com/no load time. That's patreon.com/no load time. Obed, I look forward to being with you next time on the show. We'll see you guys then.
Hold on. Next week's July 4th, sir.
Yeah. We may not be.
We may not be around next week.
There may be videos, but not
yeah.
live.
Oh yeah. I'll cut some clips. Yeah, I may do something else, but I'll plug in some clips for sure. And then when are you heading out to Comic-Con again? That is.
Yeah, I'm heading. Well, I've got a couple of them. We've got one coming up. I want to. Gosh, if I have a calendar in front of me, but we got the one that's coming up first in Miami. So Miami is actually in 2 weeks. We got the 12th through the 14th, and then after that, literally right after, you've got from the 24th through the 28th is Comic-Con. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a busy month. Lots of content, different content than our usual show.
Right.
But we will do the best we can.
I'm sure you guys will enjoy it.
Yeah.
You guys, thanks again. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.